Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine Live. Our home office surprised us with a couple of bonus sketches. So I decided let's go ahead and knock them out tonight if we can. So let me go ahead and get right into it. We're going to be working with our Party Time collection. And here we go. I have the stickers for the Party Time collection. I also have, we're actually going to be going out of order a little bit here. I'm going to be doing sketch number 2 first. I'm going to go ahead and move this closer so that way y'all can get your screenshot of the measurements if you want it. But I have both the some of the pages from the Party Time Bride. I've actually used some of this collection already. And then I also have some of our Party Time Blue pages. So we're actually going to be combining papers from both of these packs for this sketch number 2. I have something extra special planned for sketch number 1, and I need just a little extra time to get that one together, but it's going to happen tonight, so stay tuned for that. First things first. So from the Party Time Bright, we have this sheet that's yellow on the back, but it has all these really great candles on it. And when I saw the essentially 2 borders running through the page, we don't really have a border sticker with this collection. So I created my own. These are 3/4 of an inch by 12 inches essentially. So this one is 12 and then this one is what, 10.5? Because I cut this one first. So it came obviously from the opposite direction because of course our candles are directional and we need one running up and down and one's going to run across our page. I also picked from the Party Time Bright, we have this page that has all these, well, it's red with a bunch of presents and other things on it, but on the opposite side, there are several pictures and it basically turns out to be like a mat. So this is essentially a 4x6 mat that you can use either as a journal box or you can just pop a picture directly over it. Then I've also taken from our Party Time Blues. I have this sheet that has, it's white with the blue polka dots. And I've cut 2 4¼ by 4¼ mats from that. And then I also did a little bit of tricky cutting on this one. Out of my 12 by 12 sheet, I put it in my trimmer, and on our trimmer, we actually have this white line. Let me hold it so you can actually see it. This white line and this ruler that runs along the right side of our trimmer. And so I went ahead and I stopped cutting at 10.5 inches. So I would have 1.5 inches by 12, essentially running along both sides of my strip. And I cut this end first, and then I just turned my paper and I went ahead and did the same exact thing. So it's super nice to have this extra little perk of this little white line so we know exactly where our blade's going to be cutting into our paper. Just makes life so much easier. And so that was that one. And this sheet is also from the Party Time Blues. It's actually the same sheet we're using as the base, except we're using the opposite side. So we have this plaid base that we're using, and then we have, it's basically a blue with white circles on it, large circles. So let's go ahead and start putting this together because our page runs here, but we're actually going to be adhering several things at an angle on the page with this sketch, which is kind of fun. It gives us something different to work on here. And so I'm going to start by adhering my polka dots. And you know what? I'm going to use the repositionable tape because I'm not feeling that super daring today. You know, some days I just go for it, and other days I just am like, maybe we should try it a little bit safer here. So I have my sheet here, and I'm essentially going to line up the bottom corner of my angled piece here with the bottom corner of my 12 by 12 sheet, and I'm going to angle it up just a bit. It looks like it's roughly 1 inch. I can grab out my ruler if you all would like to know. Let me see here. And yes, it's between an inch and a quarter roughly on both ends here. It looks closer to an inch and a quarter at the end. So my angle is here, and yes, I know this is running off the paper. I know this is running off the paper, but I did that on purpose because, you know, I try to conserve paper where I can, but I also try to make these sketches simple and easier for us all to accomplish. And so we're going to use our scissors towards the end, and we're going to fix that. And you don't have to worry about that it's running off your page. When we're done with this, it is not going to be running off your page. I'm also going to go ahead and use the repositionable on this one as well, because again, we need to get our angles right before we do anything else to our page here. And usually I don't do the repositionable for the main big pieces, but I am on this one just because, again, it's going to be a little bit tricky. I want to make sure my page stays on my 12-inch base. And I kind of want to get this even. And you know, I tend to eyeball things. So let's go right about here. It's about a 1/2 inch or so going through there. So mine is running a little bit further over than kind of what it looks on the sketch. But, you know, the sketches are guides like our recipes. And that's just the way we're going to do it. All right. So our next piece is our little candles that I got that are going to run up the side of our blue piece here. And we're going to angle it with the bottom of our white with the blue polka dots essentially on it. And that's just going to run up the side here. I'm kind of going to work it so it's a little bit over from the edge of our blue here. So not exactly flush here. In fact, I'll show you. You can see where I'm going off a little bit further over. And again, scissors are going to help us with this. And we have to wait for our other one because we are going to place, okay. So I am changing this up in the sketch because on the sketch here, it has our larger picture on the top and our two smaller ones in the bottom. But when I went to kind of take a look and figure out where I wanted to put this, I really liked it on the bottom better. Just felt weird to have, if we want to use a journal box on the top, it just made more sense in the bottom here. So that's where this one is going to go, is in the bottom. Again, using the repositionable just in case. Hopefully I won't have to grab out my multi-purpose tool, but y'all know I've done that before. So it'll be okay if we need to again. So again, just kind of following the line here. This is about 1/4 inch from each of those edges. Let's get our two 4x4s on the top now. And actually, let me get my other tape on. Here we go. So we have these two that are going to be across the top here. And let's see. Yeah. And you can see where it just brings in our frame a little bit more by having this up in the top here. Again, following the edge of the blue with the white circles on it. And oh, there we go. We don't need the multi-purpose tool if we're able to just pull it off here. And I'm going to go about 1/4 inch from the edge, which leaves us, it looks like it's almost 3/8 in between. And that's not exactly lined up. Yeah, I'm going to have to get I thought I had it the second time, but I don't quite have it lined up right the second time. So here we go. We're just going to go ahead and scoot this over just a hair so it runs kind of in a line. Since it's white, it's kind of stark against our background here. And there we go. That's where it wants to go. That one is going there. It's okay. It still looks good, which is a big plus. So now our next part of our candles are going to run across our page. And I actually was hoping this would work out where it lines up with one of ours in our border here. And it does. So I'm just going to go ahead and run again a little bit of our repositionable tape across this other piece I cut from the Party Time Bright. And I'm just going to line it up next to this little yellow one here that got cut off a bit. And again, we're going to run off the page. I'm okay with that. There we go. And we're going to wind up cutting this one off here because that's where it shows it in the sketch over here as well. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and grab my scissors and get my cutting done before I start placing stickers, because I do know already I kind of eyeballed a couple of our stickers that I want to add to the page. Uh-oh. Get that up off of there. There we go. Let's go ahead, and this is a little bit trickier because we can't exactly flip our paper over to cut it to make sure that we're lined up. So I'm just going to have to, there we go, take a little bit of a leap of faith there. And then I'm just going to rub my finger to get the last little bit of the repositionable tape off. And maybe I'll wind up using the rest of those candles on a card or something else later. But you can see how easy it is to see where the paper's running from behind this navy circles on the back. And I'm just going to cut along the seam here essentially, so that way it lines up. I've got my micro tip scissors, which have their super duper fantastic coating on them. So even though I'm cutting through the repositionable tape, it's not going to stick to my scissors, and my scissors aren't going to get gooped up at all. These are my favorite scissors ever, I think, that I've ever owned. Here we go. So nothing there to even wipe off. And here is our base of our layout. So on our stickers, we have a happy birthday, which is what I'm going to pull. That has some cute balloons on it as well. And this is just going to add another pop of color to this bottom part of our layout. I am going to grab the foam squares, and we're going to go ahead and pop it up. Here we go. And this one is going to go here. And there we go. And then I also eyeballed this one here, this blue that just really fits nicely with our circles we already have. So this one's going to go up over here. Actually, I think it's going to go in this area. Yep. It's just going to fit perfectly in this little space up here. So we're going to have our little candle hiding out over here. Not quite hiding, but drawing attention to this other part of our layout that's going to have our pictures on it. And then also we have more candles we're going to add over here. So I saw this light blue one that we're going to go ahead and place down here. And I don't know if I guess I should angle it a little bit, because that's the way everything else on this page is going. And this yellow one as well is going to add an extra little pop of color. And there's that. Let's get our little flames for our candles. How's about we small foam square those? Let me grab that sheet out. Hopefully this is not too small for this. Almost. It just fits. Whew, got lucky on that one. Thought I was going to have to cut my foam squares, which sometimes you do. Sometimes you get lucky, like today. Here we go. Here's our second one. It's just a matter of getting it lined up just right on there. Pull off your back, and you have a popped up lit candle. We've got a couple of them here. And I also wanted to put this other one over here as well and add one more candle to our page. Although you actually could also put a small journal box here if you opt to put your picture here, which I would recommend, because, you know, the whole point is getting pictures on the pages. But I liked that this navy kind of went, and the design was just a little different. So it's going to also draw some extra attention to it. But here's one more candle over here. So we have our candles, and repeating through our page, which just kind of makes it flow really nicely and seamlessly. And that's it. We are done. The sketch is done. I will hold it up so that we all can see a little bit better how we have our party time sketch number 2 done. That went quickly. Nothing wrong with that, I guess. And thank you all so much for joining me on my putting together this sketch. I will be back in just a little bit with sketch number 1. Like I said, I have something a little bit extra special planned for the other bonus sketch, and I want to make sure it's right before going live. Until next time.